So you like Jojo Siwa?
I'm a huge. You guys laugh. I am dead ass a huge JoJo Siwa fan.
No,
We love JoJo Siwa. She's an impressive
I've been to
human
her
being.
shows.
JoJo
I got
Siwa
her CDs.
confuses me so much. I don't know how she does it.
She's just really mature for her age.
Yeah.
She's like more mature than I am.
The crazy thing is too, if you meet her, it's not her parents. It's her.
It's her.
She's
No,
a
I spent
force.
New Year's Eve with JoJo Siwa last year, and my kids. She invited me and my kids to go to see some Queen cover band. We had like a great time, and she's just force of nature. She's just like one of
That
those
would be a
kids
place
that-
JoJo Siwa would invite you to, a Queen cover band. Like just like crazy mature thing for JoJo Siwa.
No, I think she's great. I really think she's amazing.
Oh, I thought it was funny. We were in the car the other day, Case, and David was going to maybe go to Las Vegas. And at the last minute, his friend called and was like, "Hey, I got a private jet." And David was like, "Oh, okay, let's go." So he calls Natalie and he's like, "Good news. We don't have to fly, regular. We're going to go on a private jet." And Natalie just goes, "Oh, okay, great." And I just never heard anyone so not excited about
So
going
unenthused
on
about a private jet.
Like, what are we doing here?
Well, it wasn't that. It was just the fact that I knew that.
Now you have to go to Vegas.
Now I have to go to Vegas.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
It was like now that there's no excuse.
Oh.
Like you can't pass up a
And
private
the cherry
jet.
on the cake was that we were going to Vegas at 11 and leaving at 3 a.m. So we were there for literally 2 hours.
Bro, that's so fucking... Our friend Dylan Francis is a DJ, and sometimes he invites us to his shows, and so his private jet took off at 11. And the crazy thing about private jet is you can literally go, "Hey, I have extra room. You want to come?" And it's so easy to board a private jet.
Yeah.
You don't need an ID.
You can get there 5 minutes late.
Yeah,
and the plane will wait for you.
And the plane will wait for you. No, but it's interesting because his job is so bizarre because he lands in Vegas at like 11:45 at night, like midnight, and he goes on at 1 a.m. and he DJs till 3 a.m. and then at 3:45 he's back on the flight and he's home at 5 a.m. So at a time when you're probably going to bed at 10, Dylan is packing to get on his flight,
Just going to work.
and he'll be back before you wake up. Like that's crazy. Like that's such an odd
What
job.
about the fact that his commute is in a Gulf Stream?
Yeah, it's fucking
madness.
sick. Yeah, Casey got a private jet the other day because there was a scheduling conflict and he needed to get one. And he got the entire private jet to himself, and there was no one to fly with him. So he asked my high school teacher, and he was like, "You want to come to LA with me? I have like 9 seats left on this jet." And my high school teacher was like, "Okay, I guess, yeah, I'll call off work." And which is really funny. So my high school teacher spent a week in LA because Casey had room on his private jet.
Yeah, I mean the whole story is that I had a work thing in LA that I had to make it back for, and my fee for the work thing was the same exact price as the private jet, so I made no money, but I fulfilled all my obligations, and I got to give your high school teacher a ride.
What's the craziest thing that's happened to you with like work or like I showed up in Dubai, they had this for me, this happened, and then they gave me $100,000 headphones. You know
I mean the craziest thing, like I've always been really obsessed with flying on airplanes. Like my dream when I was a little kid was to someday fly in first class.
Yeah.
And like my financial goal in life, I have one singular financial goal in life, and that's to never have to fly coach again. And I'm not there yet, and I don't know what that looks like or what it means, but like ever since I was a kid, I've always been obsessed with planes, and like the idea of first class just seems so wild.
Yeah.
And I was just in the Middle East, and I was there with Etihad, which is like one of those fancy Middle Eastern airlines, and they flew me back, and they have one seat on their gigantic plane, like the double-decker A380. And that seat is called the Residence. And this seat, no shit, like dead ass, the seat is 3 rooms. You have a living room with 2 couches in it. You have a hallway that takes you to your bedroom.
Wow.
And the bedroom has like a bed in it that 2 people could comfortably sleep in. You could definitely, if you're there with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, you could definitely sleep with someone in there. There's a lock on the door. There's no way anyone could see in. And then the third room is a private bathroom. You don't share your bathroom with anyone on the plane. You have your own bathroom. In that bathroom,
How many people fly on this plane at once?
Like 400 or whatever, but there's only one of these. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I see.
So
what
for
you're
everybody
saying.
else on the plane, it's regular. And then for one person,
And you were in the seat.
I had it for one way. The other way, I like flew
How many
regular.
hours was the trip?
14 and a half.
There's there's hundreds of people sitting in middle seat.
And on the same, just beneath me. And the shitty thing is, there's like a dozen of them could have come up into my room and hung out with me. And they would have been way more comfortable. I had a shower with 10 minutes of running hot water with a timer on it, so I know when I'm running out. I split it up into 3 different showers. Because I took a shower before my nap, after my nap, and then before I landed. They gave me a bathrobe.
Oh
That's
my
fucking
God.
crazy.
They gave me a menu that
What's
was
the price on that?
So I looked it up when I got back.
Yeah.
and it's like $26,000 for one way.
Wow.
But you asked me the craziest thing. Like I actually talked with Jonah about it weirdly,
Fucking sick,
which
bro.
is like just like all the shit you do, and even like hanging out with you, David. The shit you do now is way crazier than the stuff that I do now. But like just to stop and take inventory and be like, whoa, this is my job. Like,
Yeah.
like I was on that plane and I was like, this is such a dream of mine. I'm like almost 40 years old. It took me like my whole life to achieve this dream. And like, wait a minute, like this is my work. Like I'm on here for my job. So like it's not like the money or like getting the cool cars or getting to ride like meet famous people. It's just like the whole picture.
Yeah.
Like this is the world that you've created.
Yeah, it's
Like,
nuts.
I was just getting started when I was your age. I couldn't imagine what it's like when you're 23.
Does money buy happiness?
I made a whole movie about this, but my summation of that movie was that when you have money, David. You still have problems in life. We have problems in life. Everybody in this room is, except for Dima. Everybody in this, except for Dima and Natalie. No, what I mean is like when you get to a point in life where you got enough money, so you can pay your rent, you don't have to worry about it. You pay for food, you don't have to worry about it. When you have money, you still have problems.
Yeah.
My wife and I have trouble. Like we're parenting kids is hard. I broke my shoulder. Like I have real problems in life that I have to overcome. But when you don't have money, there's only like one problem. And that's the money thing. Does that make sense? Like,
Yes.
I don't know if I'm articulating that right, but like when you're broke, money will solve all of your problems. Like I was so poor when I started. So like, look, like when I had a kid when I was very young, and when I had a kid, like we were on welfare. And if I didn't get diapers and milk from the government for free, like my kid wouldn't have had milk and I wouldn't have had diapers to put him in. Like I was that poor. So like I have a real appreciation for it. And at that point in my life, money would have solved every one of my problems. Every problem I have. So like, does money buy happiness? It's like,
No, because
no.
you get new problems.
You
when
get new
the money.
problems, but the fact that those problems aren't connected to something that's like you can stare down every day, it's a really different perspective on life.
Yeah. I think the way I answered it yesterday is like the top % of the world that are the wealthiest are definitely not the happiest, but
No.
also the bottom, the most poor people in the world are also not the happiest either. So I think it's just to each his own. To every person is different, whether you
Yeah.
have a lot of money or not. You still have the problem. So that question is just kind of weird.
We were in $100 million house last night, or David thought
So-
80 to 100.
Yeah,
right?
so the house was like 80 to 100 million, and I was talking to this guy's friend. I was like, so this house, it's huge. It's in the middle of Beverly Hills. Like, I mean, like,
yeah, it is the most
real
prime
estate.
spot.
It's like
on a cul-de-sac. It is the street in Beverly Hills. Like
20
behind the Hilton.
bedrooms. Like, there was more staff at the party than there were attendants. Like, it's fucking huge. And I was talking to the guy's friend, and I was like, what is this? Like, what is it like living here? Like, what is this concept? And he's like, I hear his parents on the phone, like, once a month, talking to the neighbors and acquiring houses next to them so they can just knock it down and build a fence further just to extend their property. And he was telling me that every time they buy a new house next door, it's $30 to $40 million just so they can expand their square footage a little bit further. Like, that's crazy.
Does that make, so here's what, like, does it make you happier? Like, I think there's a real point of diminishing return when it comes to money, especially wealth.
Sure.
Like, I know, like, when I was that poor, all I fantasized about was, like, I want to own a jet. I want to own a yacht. I want to drive, like, the fanciest cars in the world. I want all these things. And the minute I could afford food and didn't have to think about paying rent, I immediately stopped being motivated by money. Like, I just don't care. I'm motivated by, like, I want to have fun. I want to be healthy. I want to spend time with people I like. Like, it goes, like, there's no way that them extending their property line an extra 30 feet, like, increases their happiness.
Yes, but I feel like it's just a hobby at that point. It's just like a statistic.
It's just an insane.
It's a lot to us, but to them it's like it's literally like me spending $1,000 on getting, first class on a trip. But it's insane, like the different levels of like wealth there is, and it's just it
And
blows
for
my
your
mind.
for your audience, like, we're in Los Angeles, which is like there's such weird kind of money and wealth here that you're confronted with every day.
It is the weirdest thing. You have very, very extremely poor people, and then you have the fucking top like richest people.
Yeah, and that's a really weird thing to reconcile.
Casey, one of the craziest realizations of, wow, fucking money is insane, is when I went to visit you in your hotel room at VidCon when I like first met you, and I asked you to grab a water from your hotel little room, And I asked you, I was like, do I Venmo you? Like, do I PayPal you? Like, first I asked if you had cups so I can like fill up tap water. But you're like, just grab it from the mini fridge. And that was fucking insane to me. I was like, you want me to go in the mini fridge? I'm going to pull out a water. It's going to charge you $6 for something I'm doing. And you don't want me to pay you back? That was crazy to me. And that was like such a big goal of mine. When I saw you do that, I was like, holy fuck. Like, I want to be able to have that kind of freedom. Like the fact that I could be in an airport with Natalie. This is my favorite. And I go, Natalie, can you go get me some waters? Like, go get me 6 waters because it's going to be a long trip. And then I'm not thinking about each water being charged on my credit card, like, is the most, like, freeing feeling I experience. It's just, like, the financial freedom of just being able to, like, be comfortable wherever I'm at.
When you were doing your 800 days, were you chasing money or fame or making followers? What were you after?
No, I don't know. I mean, look, I started it because I just started my tech company.
Right.
And I wanted a way to like share what I was doing in my tech company. I needed an audience to care about what I was doing. So I was like, I'll start a reality show about my tech company. But it turns out 5 dudes that are like computer programmers writing code in a room is not good content. And that's when like day one, I was like, no, I have to make this about me, but
Right.
I didn't monetize my channel or any of my content for a while.
Really?
Yeah, because I wanted like YouTube for me. I didn't want it to be pure. It wasn't about making money. I didn't
What did you
care.
do for money?
I like directed TV commercials and things like that. I just didn't have much.
On top of vlogging?
Yeah, that's when I was I was in a lot of debt. Lived off my credit cards a lot. And I remember like the summer before I turned monetization on my YouTube channel, and I only did it because someone was like, "You have no idea how much money you're leaving on the table." Before I turned it on, I was like $180,000 in debt. Credit cards, personal loans.
Oh, and then you turned on ads, like monetization.
Yeah, and I remember like the first month it was like $8,000, and I was like, "Oh my!"
Wow.
I had no idea. I did 100 million views without monetization turned on.
Wow.